Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our final Two Shot Tuesday record of 2025. My name is Jason Riley. We are, as Barry would say, at an ungodly hour. And let me just introduce you to Barry T. Nixon, my co-host. Barry, let me be the first to welcome you to Two Shot Tuesday Final Record 2025.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
What time are we working on here, Barry?
One can only guess, but it is far earlier than I would usually be operating, especially as we wind out the year.
Absolutely. So, and I thank you for starting early. For me, I had a little something later on that I'm not able to do the record. So this is a peek behind the curtain, everyone. And you get to see our fresh faces, ready to go, excited to be here to ring out 2025. Because if you're listening to this, if you're listening to this as it comes out, this is the final days of 2025. We are recording it, as you know, 1 week earlier, just prior to the Christmas being upon us. So if you see a little twinkle in Barry's almost non-existent eyes, you would notice that he's excited for the Christmas spirit. Barry,
I certainly am.
Let's begin our sending away of 2025 with a toast. And in fact, you've already started with one in your honor, Barry.
Thank you
for making the time this early. What have you got for our shot number one that you've pre-consumed there?
Yeah,
but you'll do it again.
It's a sipper. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes we do sippers. So this is a sipper. It's coffee, but it also has a little bit of Bailey's Irish cream.
Yeah, and not just any Bailey's Irish cream. Why don't you tell the listeners what extra flavor it's got in it that you sent me via text-based message yesterday?
Yeah, it's salted caramel, which is pretty good. Now, I have to say, it's not as sweet as one would think. So that's actually a good thing.
That's good for you because you don't have much of a sweet tooth. Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't
usually. I'm bringing in what you've dubbed to be my favorite whiskey, Jameson Triple Triple. I'm going to have that to kick off the day here. And this is, again, to you, good sir.
Right back at you, Jay.
Ooh, okay. I'm curious why you picked up this particular Bailey's, knowing you don't have a huge sweet tooth, or was it gifted to you?
It was gifted to me by a friend of ours, friend of the show, TJ Chesley.
Nice.
He brought it over. So I was like, oh, that's very sweet. Literally.
Yeah. So, that's right, but not so
all that sweet. Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Which was pleasurable for you, I'm sure, because you really don't, and you never have in all the years I've known you, had a real sweet tooth. You've never been drawn to the sugary desserts, shall we say.
Yeah, I can be standing in front of a table of desserts and not touch a single one.
That is amazing to me.
Yeah.
And
my coworkers are usually in awe of that too, because one thing I notice at work, especially during this period, every day somebody's bringing in cookies or donuts or whatever, and I never touch them. Everyone else does, but I don't.
That is the favorite kind of coworker to work with, by the way. Because because we know there's extra treats for us, and we can hand them to you going, hey, it's all part of the Christmas tradition. They come around and then you're happy to let it go. What if it was a bowl of chips? Would that be a different story?
That would be harder for me to resist because that is, I certainly prefer the salt, but also I try not to stack in between meals. I really do. If I am going to eat chips, it'll be after dinner. Okay. I don't usually do that in the daytime.
Smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
At a certain age, it causes a bit more gut rot, I would say, the chips do, than they do when you're younger and can just eat bags of anything at any time.
That's true. Yeah. That's the beauty of youth.
Yeah. An important lesson for the kids out there. Now,
yes, certainly.
Barry, here we go. We're sending off 2025. We're going to talk about some of the things that we learned in 2025, some of the more pivotal moments that hit us in 2025. So I want to set that up for you. I don't know if you have one ready to go. If not, I can kick us off and we can just talk about it. And really, not just to dwell on it for us, but what are these lessons we'll then take into 2026 that perhaps our listeners and our viewers can glean some knowledge from?
Wow. Okay. I would love for you to get started, and then that will give me time to think of an answer to your query there.
Great.
It's a good question.
Yeah. Well, one of my first ones is tied to the podcast, and it was our move to Riverside. And in our move to Riverside, it also meant our move to video. And we learned that video is just we weren't the first to learn this. We were a little bit later to the party, but video for podcasting is so critical. We have been able to grow our footprint through YouTube and through the shorts that we do. And that has been an incredible kind of little bit of extra rocket fuel, I'd say, this year versus our kind of progressive growth that we'd had over the last few years. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's amazing. And truly, I agree with you on that. And it was your idea to say, hey, let's move to Riverside. And it's a fantastic platform. And it's definitely worth the money to use it. We had an episode not too long ago where there was an issue with one of the two of our audio.
Yeah, well,
Riverside was able to salvage what would have been a dumpster fire of an episode, but thanks to Riverside, it was something we could actually put out. So
yeah.
thank you, Jay. That was a very smart move on your part.
Thanks. And if you've got a podcast out there, if you've started one or you're looking to start one in the new year, Riverside is a place to go. We recorded on Zoom before that, which is fine. But, at that point, I had to do all of the editing on, I'm even forgetting the name of the editing platform because I haven't had to use it, but I used it.
Oh, I think it was called Hootsuite. Was that what it was called?
No, Hootsuite's where we post our social media. So that's where we post our Instagram and Facebook clips, which if you're not following us already on the show, please do on Facebook and Instagram. Maybe we'll expand to some other social media platforms in 2026. We may have some ideas maybe of where we could go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll think about that. Right?
Okay. That sounds good.
But Riverside lets us do the video. It's real quick to do the editing. There's a little bit extra work because of putting it on the YouTube platform. And what I've also learned is that I don't need to be a slave to the title of the episode. So if you're also learning this in podcast, it may be, I always call the episode the same thing on all of our platforms, podcast versus YouTube, but the descriptor in the title may be a little bit more provocative on YouTube because that tends to travel a little better. It may name a few of if we name some artists or some athletes, it may name that because these tend to have a little bit more traveling. In fact, our best episode of 2025 in YouTube was the review of One Battle After Another.
Nice.
By like 10x. Like it traveled pretty well for us. And so that's kind of cool. So I'm learning all this stuff. We're learning all this stuff as we begin to do this video platform. So that's one of the big ones for me.
That's huge. That's amazing, Jay.
What else from you, Barry? I know your workouts have been really
I was just
well
going to talk
branded.
about that.
Please do.
I was going to talk about that. In fact, I had my fitness assessment recently. That's where Andre will come and he'll, measure the skin folds and we'll take measurements on arms and chest and all that stuff. It's very official. You weigh yourself, all that good stuff.
Intimate, one might say, if you're doing skin folds.
Yeah. Well, that's how you can really, if you don't track it, you can't change it, I believe is the phrase. And if you don't know where you're at, you don't know where you're going. So the last time I did one was November of 24. So about 13 months later, that's definitely enough runway to see some changes. And I'm happy to say that there's been some changes.
Very good. Of course.
I added another 4 pounds of lean muscle, sitting at 217 pounds, but I've lost fat and gained muscle during the past 13 months, which is exactly what you want to do. And it was kind of funny, both at different times, but Andre and Linda, my wife, executive producer, Linda LeBrun, they both separately, but they both brought it up and asked whether I was using steroids. And I said, no, I'm not using steroids, but I'm just thankful that I have, good genetics so that's responding to hard work. And also adding a third day has been critical, and maintaining that consistency has been huge for the year. So, So next rolling into 26, and I want to keep gaining, because now's the time. Once you crest 50, it is harder to add muscle.
Right.
Not impossible, just harder.
Yeah. What would you say to our listeners and our viewers who are maybe just thinking of getting going in January? What's your message to them as they start on their journey?
My message is stop thinking and just get out there and do it. And the first couple of months are going to suck, but stick with it, because once you see a change in your body, you should be hooked at that point. Right. But you got to wait. You got to put the work in until you start to see the changes. Too many people quit, a month or 2 months in, and that's just not enough time for your body to kind of respond, unless you have super genetics. And if you're 20, that might happen. But if you're a middle-aged man like myself, you got to give yourself at least 3 months of consistency, and then after that you should start seeing some changes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it will suck in the beginning. I remember when I started, it absolutely sucked. I had to really drag my ass to get there. Even though I was training with somebody, I still had to drag myself. Anyway, the point is, stick with it and you'll be happy.
Yeah. There are still some plateaus I have a hard time getting over. Like if I if I hurt my back, or if I make myself nervous, I'll step back a bit, and then I have a hard time pushing through it. So, but I hear your message of just keep going, just keep doing it, keep showing up. I have some ideas on some things I want to do this year that I will, reveal to you because I know you'll help hold me accountable. And
I'd be happy
as we go through. And I'll share it, of course, with our viewers and our listeners right here on the show, because it's all part of the journey. Because I would say that.
Yeah. I mean, you want to be ready for Jacked Spring, which is going to be
It
happening
keeps
in
coming
March.
up. Yeah.
I mean, so that's something to shoot for, Jay. Jacked
Yeah.
Spring.
Act spring, shirts off summer, shirts off
Yeah.
fall, shirts off winter, where it gets a little colder and the nips start to stick out a little bit, but that's fine.
They do.
That's what you got to do.
It's fine.
It's all fine.
Let them out. Let them breathe, for heaven's sake.
Hey, we've got a format on this show, and that's going to continue well into 2026 and beyond. And it is 2 shots of anything that we choose. What have you got for shot number 2?
Well, I'm going to continue with what I've been sipping on, Jay. It's a little Bailey's Irish cream and some quality Nespresso coffee.
And I will be going back to the Jameson triple.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe one day we should have a different 1 versus 2 shot, like a second shot that's different. Maybe that should be a goal in 2026. But that would be novel. We never do that.
No, we don't. I think part of it is we're trying to keep our costs in line here at the Two Shot Studios.
Yeah, true.
Since we are pre-revenue. However,
5 years pre-revenue.
Yeah, but I do like the idea. And I guess Christmas is the time to do it because that's usually when you get gifts of bottles. Yep. Is that what you get? Like, do you get that from your coworkers or from other family members? Do they give you bottles? Christmas?
Not really. No, we don't. There's not a lot of gifts that get exchanged. I mean, there is with Aldo, executive producer Aldo Roma's parents, and we'll go spend some time there. With my parents, it's a trip to Sudbury, so it tends to be, in the form of cash that might go, there, because it's just easier to send or it's easier to transport on a plane, that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
But then that usually will turn into a bottle. So I guess it's a 2-step process, but there's always something there. Like yesterday, I re-upped the Black Barrel, which I think is going to be my favorite for 2026. I have to say that is I even passed up a new bottle of triple at the LCBO with like a little bonus bottle of Black Barrel attached to go right to a single bottle of Black Barrel. Because I think I like it much better than the triple. Like triple's good, but Black Barrel, you can't get one. They don't seem to be available below Bluer for some reason.
Yeah.
But
I know. I would love to find out the reason for that because it's a little frustrating, Jay. But I'm happy that you're enjoying it because I completely agree with you. I think the Black Barrel at the price point and the quality, it's like stands heads and shoulders above everything else that we've tried.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to talk about another transformative thing. I think you'll be able to use it as a jump off point as well for you. It's one that we share. Yeah. The 2 that I won't talk about, because I've talked about it, the passing of our dog, London, may he rest in peace. That was pivotal in 2025. And the trip to Japan that we dedicated an entire episode to, pivotal in 2025. And I'll be going back in 2026 for this shoot. The one, though, we touch on it from episode to episode was, and again, at almost your insistence, I joined the 4K family at the end of 2024. And so in 2025, I've been able to grow, I think, pretty impressively, my 4K disc experience. And I wanted to highlight 3 of them in particular, upgrading ones like Shawshank Redemption. That is just a great movie to own in multiple formats. It's kind of grown with me as I've improved my my devices, I guess.
Yeah, your audiovisual home setup.
Yeah, screen refresh, you call it, which I love.
Yeah.
The Batman, the original Batman movies by Tim Burton. Nice to have that. Watched Batman Returns for the first time, even though I owned it for a year. I just put it in this year at Christmas. It's more of a Christmas movie. Fantastic. Looks fantastic. I've now watched all 4 of them. And, of course, have just added the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
We talked about the first one. I'm now halfway through the second one. Executive producer Aldo Roma and I watched half of it last night. Silly, but fun. Those are 3. So the expansion of the 4K experience and the embracing of physical media, I owe this to you, and it's become it informed me in 2025 and will continue to inform my purchases in 2026.
Yeah, well, that's great news, Jay. I'm glad I was able to help you get over that 4K finish line because you were ready. You were ready to make the leap. Yeah, you felt ready. You had a whole PowerPoint presentation.
Oh yeah, that's right.
A very convincing one, I might say.
I took you through it.
Yeah, you did. And, obviously that was enough to get executive producer Aldo Roma over the finish line as well. So, well
that's
done.
Right. That's right. What 4Ks were you most impressed with that you added to your collection in 2025?
Oh, man. I have added a good number this year.
Yeah, yes. Some might say weekly they come in.
Not quite weekly, but one that I'm still on the...
Was Conan this year?
No, that was at least last year. Maybe even 23.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That Chronicles is now out of print, by the way. You can't get the two films together. Was really good this year. Damn.
Tough to think about. They're like all landing in your brain right now. You're like,
They
I could see
are.
you could see the whole shelf, and you're like trying to zoom in.
I got to say, the new Superman movie, which I freaking loved, it looks and sounds amazing at home as well.
Yeah.
Like when he's zipping around and all the channels are engaged and you like the action is totally immersive.
Yeah.
That's definitely a highlight. I really, really enjoyed that movie. I thought they hit it out of the park. We finally got a good Superman movie, the best one since Christopher Reeve.
Brought me back to the theaters again.
Yeah.
You know, last time I was there, Indiana Jones 4 or 5 was the last one that I saw that we did a review on, and then back for Superman, and then back the weekend after for Fantastic Four, which was also a quality film. It's getting it's getting knocked a little bit more, I think, because Marvel has had such impressive successes sort of pre-pandemic that Fantastic Four hasn't gotten the love that Superman got. And Superman, I think, was, to me anyway, more of a superior film.
Yeah, I agree. It had some good laughs in it as well. Everything about it was really cool. I'm looking forward to Supergirl, which I think you've seen the trailer. It looks pretty darn good.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Barry, it's time to wrap up. So let's just parting thoughts as we go into 2026. What do you want to leave our listeners and our viewers with as your final thought for the year?
Probably just a heartfelt thank you for supporting us and being with us each and every week. And we super appreciate it. And we're going to continue to bring you at least 18 minutes of entertainment weekly all throughout 2026.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, same thing for me. This represents our 52nd episode of the year. And that's 52 episodes every year since 2021. We started at the end of 2020. So we had a few episodes that year. And then since then, it has just been bang, 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 bang. We are the Swiss watches of podcasts. We keep time perfectly.
That's right. And speaking of it, our time is up.
Have a happy new year, Barry. And
you too, Jay.
Happy new year to all our listeners and viewers. We look forward to seeing you in 2026.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.